What's good? How you guys doing out there? Ramon Carter here with Gut Check, and today I want to talk about fanning the flames, fanning the flames. What does that mean? That means that when you start this journey, when you start digging into these videos, when you start really taking your purpose and your destiny seriously, when you start really living your life where the vision is governing you and you're making decisions and based on those governing rules by the vision, right? When you start to do that, right, you're on fire. But no person is going to be on fire indefinitely, right? No battery can stay charged. If you use that phone and you don't charge that battery up, it's going to die. And the same thing can happen with us. We can be on fire and then boop, 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 life begins to hit us. You know, we start to get bad news here, or we start to have our schedule being pulled out over there, and the fire can begin to die within you. And what you have to understand is that you have to be in charge of fanning the flames. You have to be the one who is going to bring your vision and keep your vision burning hot within inside of you, right? But how do you do that, Ramon? How do I continue to fan the flames? One thing you can always do to fan the flames is you always keep your dream in front of you. If you're a baker and you're trying to build this baking vision, always be reading something about bakers. Always be reading and trying to come up with new recipes. Always be in the mix of baking and what it does. And what it does is it allows you not to forget that. So even if life happens, even if you have a setback for a day or two, a week or two, because of the fact that you're always looking at baking material, because of the fact that you're always thinking about those things, it will continue to fan those embers inside of you and it'll put you back on the right track. You might say, well, what happens when I get in a melancholy mood, or what happens when I'm just not feeling right? Well, that's when you need some type of, for me, it will be spiritual guidance, right? I have my Bible, I have spiritual music that I listen to, I have coaches and mentors that I talk to. For you, it might just be uplifting music, it might just be meditation, it might just be some alone time, but you have to have time where you're thankful for things, right? Those times that I'm feeling about let's say in a melancholy mood about something that may have not happened or something that I may have wanted to happen, those are the times where I get into this grateful mode, this thankfulness mode, and I begin to be thankful for the things that I have, even thankful for the things that I have not held in my hand yet, because I understand that if I continue on and keep pressing and keep pushing, that those things will get into my hand. I even think sometimes I'm thankful for my awareness. I'm thankful for the fact that I'm not the man I was 2 years ago, 10 years ago. And I'm grateful to have people around me who love me and who support me. Other things you can do are just continuing to get yourself around people who are like-minded. A lot of the time, the things that'll quench our fire is being around people who don't believe like you do. They don't dream like you do. You're talking about walking off your job, and they're talking about, how they're going to contribute a little bit more to their 401k. And you're thinking about pulling money out of your 401k because you have a vision of starting your business. Now, of course, you're going to do your research, right? Of course, you're going to count up the cost, because you want to understand what it's going to take to build that, right? But what we're talking about is not being around like-minded people. And when you're not around like-minded people, it can drain you, man. You got to recognize who are the drainers, what are the draining factors in your life. You always hear me talk about that brutal self-assessment. And when you get in a melancholy mood, when you get in a situation when you know you're not doing the work because other things are pulling at you, that's when you need to have a moment, woosah, and ask yourself, what is going on right now? Why am I not as locked in as I was? You know when you're falling off. You know when you're not as engaged as you normally are. And when you're living this life of becoming your authentic identity, man, you got to always be checking the pulse of your fire for the vision that's on the inside of you, man. And you got to always say, okay, I haven't done the work that I normally do in the office. What's going on with me? I've been in a melancholy mood. Who have I been around? What have I been up against? And once you figure those things out, you can, disconnect from people. You can do the reverse of those things. Like I said, with meditation and prayer and music and things of that nature, you can do things to counteract those moods. Those are all things you can do that fan the flame. You got to stay on fire, man. This process is a process. It's a journey. It's a walk. Sometimes it's a slow walk. And I told you last week that you weren't going to be committed to results, that results were inevitable as you continued to grind and go forward. And so you have to be committed to time. And if we're talking about being committed for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, even 20 years for a big vision to come true, for a big vision to come to pass, man, you're going to have to fan those embers. You're going to have to fan those flames. You're going to have to figure out how to stay engaged. And those things that I told you today are tied top ways that you can stay engaged, man. Keep your nose into the business that you're about, right? Understand who is draining you and what is draining you and what is pulling you from place to place. Have a moment of gratefulness, right? Have a moment of thankfulness for what you have, for where you've come from, and for where you're going. And man, listen, don't discount the spiritual, man. Have a moment of prayer. Have a moment of meditation. You know, prayer is simply talking to the infinite God. And when you talk to the infinite God, he talks back. And it's not always an audible voice like TV. Sometimes he speaks on the tablet of your heart. You'll have an idea. Something will click. Something will register. You'll read something. You'll be watching a movie and see something, and everything will just start to come together, and then you'll be back on track. But you got to understand that you have to do brutal self-assessment in times when you know, like you know, that you're off track. And that's how you fan the flames. That's how you stay on fire. That's how you continue day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, and then you dominate, take territory, produce, and you multiply. Now you're living the life that you were designed to live, and you're living a fulfilled, peaceful, and prosperous life. But it only happens when you are able to fan the flames. You don't want to be stuck out there cold. You don't want to be lukewarm where you can waver in between, but you always want to be hot for the things that you're in pursuit of. I did a video way back. You can watch it on YouTube, or you can scroll down. It's called Hot Pursuit. Matter of fact, it wasn't a scripture. It was a teaching I did, a Bible study I did called Hot Pursuit. Man, listen, even if you're not a Christian, I would suggest you go back and watch that Bible study called Hot Pursuit that I did. It was filled with wisdom on how to be in hot pursuit with your dreams. Listen, as always, I thank you for your time of allowing me to pour into your life. Remember, the book is on sale right now. You can go to the website and get that. That's a part of keeping your nose to the grindstone, keeping yourself motivated, because you're reading things, you're listening to things, you're hearing things that are keeping you focused, that are keeping you on fire, and that is keeping that vision right in front of your face. As always, I'll leave you with these 3 thoughts. Think abundance, focus on growth, create, never compete. Thanks, and God bless.